Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Got something spicy for you today. If you like your sim racing a bit more immersive, then I may have you covered. We've got a company called 3D Wrap and they've sent us a kit called the Feeling Pro Kit, and we're going to unbox it, we're going to set it up, I'm going to test it out, and I'm going to give my verdict right at the end. So bear with us, it's going to be a slightly longer vid than normal, but you'll get through it, you'll like it. Let's get on with the unboxing. Okay, here we are. We're going to do the unboxing now. I've opened the lids, ready to rock and roll. Let's take the lid off and see what's in this kit. So this is what you get with the Feeling Pro Kit from 3D Wrap. So we get the first motor, which is a frame motor. The second motor seems to be a pedal motor, which will go on the Fanatec CSL pedals, which is what I own. We've got some extension cables for the motors themselves. We've got the second frame motor. Both of the frame motors will be going under my seat, followed by another pedal motor and a USB-C lead, following by some cable ties, or cable tidies should I say, little sticky pads. I'm assuming that's what they are. And the controller box, 4 channels with USB-C to PC and a 12-volt supply with wind generation plug-in as well, so it'll all be controlled from this one box. Power supply. Moving on to box number 2. Here we have the wave generators themselves. We've got a spare set of T-nuts for a different type of frame attachment. Then we've got the generators themselves with the 3D Wrap logo on the back. Very nice. Very nicely made. Very sturdy. Let's have a look at the entirety of what you get in the 2 boxes for your money. So we've got the wind generators, controllers. We've got 4 motors, power supply, USB-C, cable for the controller, 2 extension cables for 2 motors, and a nice pair of socks. So we're going to be hooking these all up to the controller, 2 of which are going to be on the pedals and 2 under the seat. So that's how we're going to configure it. So I'm going to show you how to fit these 2 to the back of the pedals to get us started. If you're not a fan of the yellow caps, you can actually remove them, but I quite like them, so I'm going to keep them and put them back on. Okay, so let's start the process of removing the pedal plates so we can get access to the back of the actual bolt and get the nuts off. Select the rumble motor for the pedal, stick it onto the bolts, and then get the fiddly nuts back on. The nuts are a little fiddly to get on as I didn't have a socket to fit, so I had to use a flathead screwdriver to wedge the nut so I could tighten it up. Side note, on the load cell you're going to have to dismantle the pedal in order to get this on, otherwise you won't be able to get to the screws. So undo that bolt, which is a 10mm, and you're going to need an Allen key, which is a 5mm Allen key. On the other side, boom, 10mm on there. Smash that out, pull the actual pedal out, fit everything, put the load cell back in its place, then push it down into the slots, wiggle the bolt back in, turn it up, you're done. And this is how we attach the wind generators to the Fanatec base. Utter genius, and it looks wicked, I think you'd agree. And here we have the controller, of which we're going to hook everything up. So we're going to hook up the wind generators, we're going to hook up the 4 channels, which is the 4 motors, brake pedal, accelerator, and both under seat rumble. Stick in the USB to the PC, put in the 12-volt power supply. That's good to go. On to the next step. Okay, so the first thing we're going to have to do now is go to simhub and download the simhub app once you've downloaded and installed. So to get this to work with Gran Turismo, we have to add an inbound and outbound rules into the firewall of Windows. So follow the on-screen instructions. We're going to go to advanced settings. We're going to go to inbound rules. And then we're going to click action at the top. We're going to click new rules. And we're going to select port, because that's what we need to activate. This is in order for us to get Gran Turismo 7 to communicate with your PC. I'm going to click UPD and we're going to type in these port numbers: 33739, space 33740, and then we're going to click next. And then we're going to make sure that allow the connection has got a little dot in it. Click next. All of these will have a tick in it, that's fine. Click next. And then we're going to name it. I'm going to name it GT7 port. Finish. We're now going to do the outbound rules, and it's all exactly the same. So we'll go to action, rule, click on port, click next, click UDP, and click the numbers in again: 33739, space 33740. Click next. Then make sure the allow the connection has got a dot in it. Click next. All should be ticked. That's correct. Click next, and then name it. We're going to name this GT7 port outbound. And then we're going to click finish. Now that that's complete, Gran Turismo will now communicate with simhub. So go into simhub, open it up, and we've got to select the game that we want to play. There's hundreds of racing games in here, including Farming Simulator. Yes, you did see that right. So we're going to click on Gran Turismo, make sure that's got a green slot on it. Click that off. We're going to go to the PlayStation and we're going to go to the network settings. Click network, go to view connection status, and we're going to copy the IPv4 address 192.168.0.127. Yours might be slightly different, but write that number down because we're going to need to input that into simhub so simhub can communicate or receive messages from Gran Turismo. Okay, once you have that number, click on game configuration, enter that number into the IP address here and click OK. Okay, so once that's done, we should have a green light with waiting for data. All we need to do then is go back to Gran Turismo and put the car on track. It needs to be on track before it'll actually send any data. So once we're on, we just leave it there and go back to the simhub. You should have running with a little blue dot. This means everything is connected and Gran Turismo is sending telemetry to simhub, and we're ready to rock and roll to the next stage. Let's go. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to set up some wind. That's the first thing in the list. So what we need to do is head over to wind. As you'll see, 3D Wrap Feeling Pro wind is already in here, and we want to make sure that's enabled. Then go to wind profile, and you can copy my settings here, which is exactly what I've inputted into the wind that I use. And one thing that was impressive was the draft effect intensity. So the closer you are to the car in front, literally the less wind you're going to get. I've set it to 100, so I'm getting maximum effect. Once that's done, we can actually move on to the motors. Once we click on the motors, here we go, we can sort out the rumbles now, and this is where it gets slightly more in-depth. So again, we want to make sure that the 3D Wrap Feeling Pro Rumble is enabled. So just click that across. Then, before we do any settings down here, we need to go to Effects Profile. We need to enable every effect that we want to send to the motors. So in this case, we've got gear shift impacts, road impact, and we've got traction loss, wheel lock and wheel slip. We also have these like volume dials next to them. Make a little note of these. These are the settings that I've got so far. And there's also a master output setting at the top. I've set this to 51. Okay, so the next step is to go to motors output, open the drop down box. You'll be presented with this page, and this is where we're going to tune the actual motors to the effects that we've applied. So first off, make sure that there's a tick in the show per effects gain. This will give us the green bars. And before we go any further, you can copy these settings, but in order to do this you need to identify where your motors are. So for instance, channel 4 has got, if you press the test now button, that is on my accelerator, that is on my brake, that is under my seat on the right hand side, and that is under my seat on the left side. So now I know the orientation of the motors, we can get busy with turning things off and on. Okay, so these are the settings that I have. So gear shift, you just basically just click it on. I've got them on all 4 motors, and these are the amounts that I've implemented into that particular setting. So you can make notes of these. Impacts, I've turned them all on again with these settings. As we scroll down, the road impacts are in slightly different places, but they need to be. So road impact is a rear left, so we know which motor that is. I've set that to 100. Then we've got rear right, I've set to 100. Then we've got front left, which is the brake, and set it to 50. And front right, which is the accelerator, we've set that to 50 also. And the same thing goes for the road rumble, and I've set the same for road. For the road vibrations, is exactly the same layout. The effects are slightly different, so just make a note of the effects. Simulated road texture, I've put on all 4. These are the settings I've put on. We've got traction loss on the left front and the right front. We've also got wheel lock on rear left, rear right, front left, front right. Wheel slip, we should change this. This is not right, so we'll take that off because we want it to be rear left, because that's the motor that we're assigning. And then we want rear right on, so we don't need that one. We don't need the rears on for the fronts, and that gives us front left, front right. These are the amounts that I've put on. You can change these at any point, but that's basically a good rough start, and I'm feeling most things with this little setup, so feel free to go back through the vid to get these settings. Okay, so let's get to the testing part. This is the meat and potatoes. Let's see if we can feel stuff. I felt that curb. I definitely felt that curb. Felt the grass on that one. Let's try the grass, and yep, I got grass and curb. A bit of grass, bit of curb. I can also feel the road divots. Very interesting. Okay, so I've had to turn the volume up quite a bit on this clip because it's actually quite reasonable, the noise, to be honest. It's a rumble kit at the end of the day, so it is going to make noise because that's partly the job that it's got to do, is to rattle and make noise that you can feel. You know, you can set it to oblivion and it'll just rattle your actual sim rig to bits. It is literally that powerful. Or you can set it to a sensible level where you can feel everything, but it's not too intrusive for the rest of the family or your neighbours. So is the 3D Wrap Feeling Pro kit worth it? Let's break it down. Enhanced immersion. Feeling the track and speed definitely adds immersion. Good compatibility, works with most sim racing setups. Easy to install and customizable with simhub. Wind generation is a nice touch, especially with open wheel racing cars. Cons are price. It's not the cheapest upgrade, but comparing it to other upgrades in the similar vein, it's very, very competitive. Requires tuning. You need to tweak the settings to get the very best out of it. Not a game changer for everyone. If you're a casual gamer, it might not be a must-have. Overall, I'd say that the 3D Wrap Feeling Pro kit is a fantastic addition if you're serious about immersion in your sim racing. Combination and tactile feedback and wind stimulation makes it stand out from standard force feedback alone. If you love fine-tuning your setup for the ultimate realistic experience, then this is definitely worth considering, for sure. Let me know in the comments, would you try this kit, or do you think it's unnecessary? If you enjoyed this review, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on the notifications so you don't miss any future sim racing content from the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.